It has to be closer. It
Yeah,
has to be, like,
I
almost
was
on top of it.
thought I was. Huh, it's not snapping.
That's
And
strange.
why
Try
is
the
it
other one.
red?
I don't know why. That node is just that node's broken.
And look, another red one. I've never seen red nodes.
I've never seen red nodes either. I would try with the number move the
I'm
4 onto the new one.
I'm gonna make a little road over here and show them on that. That rail is cursed, and it should be there. Oh, look at that.
You haven't there it is. See the blue line?
Yeah, see how that line goes? That would run right through the earth there. So you want to take your nodes and move them up a little. You have to keep it above the terrain. If you go above the terrain over here, it will not work. That your cargo ship will sail off into the distance. Actually, kind of comical to watch, but I'm so glad I kept it
Yeah,
to two.
there's no way I can learn how to do something like this.
Sure, you could.
It's too advanced for her.
The auto
Yeah.
functions, yeah, she could pop out a map in no time. She just missed the easy part.
Yeah.
So you just have to, whenever you're doing like cargo, you want it to almost to the edge of
Well,
the map.
you can make that line come a little closer to shore if you want to. It's just in this case, it was cutting through the terrain, so I had to move it out.
Mm. Oh, because of the rock and rock cliffs and stuff like that.
Well, I don't have to add rocks and cliffs, but yeah, there would be an issue with this rubbing with terrain sometimes and shit. So yeah, I would move that one farther out.
I personally rode cargo ship through the map a couple times.
Yeah, that was an event one. I don't know what the hell was causing that, but it was a trip to see.
It it's part of it's where you had
did it
the
actually take you through the map?
It killed me when I was in the lower portions of the cargo.
Oh yeah.
Collided with terrain.
yeah,
Uh,
you have to have your harbor outside of the outside where like the cargo ship goes, because it's the one plugin makes one appear, but it has to have a path that's both completely out in the ocean.
yeah.
I think your harbor is in the middle of the map. That's why it's
I have one in
causing.
there.
Yeah, it's using that one.
Okay. Why can't I find any tunnel links? Wrong tunnel. Yeah, your underwater labs should have sockets. I'm not seeing sockets there at all, though, am I?
Don't think they actually have sockets. There might
You
be
used
like
to.
a version that has them, because there's
Yeah.
multiple versions in some
Yeah,
cases.
they like to do that. It's pretty shitty. Let's
The
see.
earlier version of the all the cave tunnels didn't have the sockets. They put the sockets in afterwards. So they had to redo all of those, and they may not have gotten them all.
Yeah.
All the pieces.
This guy right here, pillar wood. One of my favorite pieces. Looks unassuming, doesn't it? But through the power of scale, it can be any board I want it to be. That's really good for making all sorts of different prefabs and whatnot, or, even adding on to a prefab. Another one of my absolute favorite pieces to use, Cliff Low Arc Overhang.
My favorite.
One of the few rocks they have left us that doesn't have a hole in it. No matter what side you look at it from, it's a freaking rock. Unlike
Some of the clutter rocks are similar.
you look at these guys, scale them up.
They're fine on most sides, but unless you look at the bottom. Rock disappeared. No, it didn't. It's still there.
That's what they look like from the bottom. But then you've probably seen that when you saw floating rocks, how you could walk in them and see right through them.
They just
No,
didn't
that-
bother to generate the meshes for the bottom of them.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. They were trying to be clever and make it, I don't, less.
So when you place these guys, you always want to
dig them in a little bit.
see. Look there, I left some out, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
If I'd have just judged it from here, I'd have thought that sucker was underground. So you really just have to search all the way around.
I see what you're saying. Like whenever it's red around the base of it.
Yep, where you see that orange line, that has to go underground.
And because then it means it's too high.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh.
I know all about too high.
Yeah. No such
I'm
thing,
sure you
man.
do,
No such
Eddie.
thing. Absolutely no such. That's a myth. Urban legend.
Go cut another one in half. Jeez.
Actually, you know what? My sister, she loves the gummies too, but she takes a whole one.
Some
You
formations
need a
come with a
handful.
lot of rocks. And I'm sure you guys all noticed on my map, there's no rock to scale. Everything is like giganticized for more fun building.
I didn't see any rocks on your map at all. There none.
You're living on top of one. You're living on top of a cave, man.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I don't think we can use Rust procedural maps in Rust Edit. They are not Rust
Compatible.
and Rust and Rust Edit were made by two different companies, two different people. Rust Edit is made by a programmer
Named Lone. Well, it wasn't just made by him. It was made by a bunch of people, but they had a big
Yeah.
falling out. So now mostly just him and 2 or 3 friends are running it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the procedural aspects of like Rust aren't in Rust Edit. Is that what you just were saying? Correct?
You
No,
can't
like
use
a lot of
procedural
the
maps.
pre-made maps that are like for Rust, you cannot use in Rust Edit. Basically, Rust Edit is for custom mapping.
Yeah, it's all. It takes the elements from Rust to make the maps, but it can't take something that was already made in Rust procedural
Gotcha.
mapping.
It can only pull some assets, not the procedural portions.
Yeah.
I want to show you guys
Hey,
a rather
To me, that's all
important-
mumbo jumbo because I don't understand that thinking, but it's interesting to nonetheless.
Assets are the objects in games.
So let's say you've got something like this and you want to move it or rotate it. Always choose global. If you choose local and then say you want to rotate it, they just rotate in their own space. If I change the Z markings, it'll get even weirder. So you always want to choose, undo what I did first. Always choose local. Now if I want to rotate the whole thing on global, it'll do
Oh, then it
exactly what I
actually
wanted.
moves. Hmm.
So if you ever try to rotate something or anything else and you notice that's not what I freaking expected, just hit Control Z. That will undo what you did and go straight for this freaking setting. Because you most likely were not on local or were on local. There are times where global is fantastic. There are other times when local is the far better choice. And again, that's going to be mostly personal preference. But like when it's set up like this, if I want to take this top one and just slide it a little, if I'm in global, it doesn't give me a straight line. I have to do all this weird freaking jockeying to try to get it to line up, right? Whereas had I just chosen local, it lines up beautifully and it moves exactly how I wanted it to do. So there are important times for both local and global. If something went completely different than you expected, that's the first place to check. I think at this time, I'm ready to open up the floor to questions.
How about things like an empty dome or things that are a little bit more advanced than 2 pieces of wood?
Empty
Odd
dome.
items. Yeah, like how you have all those half height, half domes and that pieces around. And that sky dome.
Let's see. What's it called in the freaking game?
And as far as this prefab list, is this something that you've downloaded locally and have, or
No,
is
this is
something that
when you
runs in-
when you install the editor, it's going to ask you to navigate to your Rust file,
Okay, so it's
and
gonna
from
pull
there
everything
it knows where to look. Once you found your Rust, show it where your Rust file is. It'll go into your Rust game and find all the different things.
Pieces.
As far as editing prefabs, are you doing majority of that in Rust Edit, or do you use any other companion programs besides the terrain brush creations?
I do everything in Rust Edit.
Everything in Rust Edit except for making the stamps.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, he said that apart from that.
Yeah, he already said.
A lot of the stuff is weirdly named, so finding stuff can be hit or miss. There are some helpful maps out there that have all the usable items kind of grouped into one tight little prefab, and it has all the right names for it and all that. I'll be posting links for that after the session and all, or Time Can, one or the other. And
You have it, not me. I probably do have it, but
a lot of this stuff you'll learn the names. Like I already know if I type in beam, I'm going to get all this stuff, but the one I'm looking for is this guy, big ol' I-beam. And I wish I could tell you a better way to find them, but they're named really freaking weird. If you want an iron beam, you would not think to write in Rocket Factory Puzzle Beam A. That's just freaking nuts. So, yeah, that part, when you're looking for the little bits and pieces to create really cool prefabs, I'm afraid that is going to be digging. You just